Hello all, welcome to another weekly video brought to you by dataplatformcentral.com. This week we are going to start the new series that we have announced recently, which is called Request a Video series. As per the announcement, we got a lot of responses from multiple users and we have chosen one of those questions today in our Request a Video series. So today's video is on the topic custom sorting in Power BI charts. So let's go straight to the question which was asked by one of our users, Suresh Samba 21367. So the scenario that we are going to discuss in today's video is this. So I have a project related data coming from HR system which consists of project codes and hours logged against it. The project codes consist of intermixed data with alphabets and numbers and is of the format CCPYPC, where CC stands for cost center, PY stands for the project year, and PC stands for the project code. I need to visualize the data using a chart visual inside Power BI and arrange the data in the order of cost center followed by year and the project code. How can I achieve this? As when I try it, it is sorting the data in alphabetical sequence rather than based on year and project code for every cost center. So the issue here is, if you see, the data is coming as an intermixed data consisting of alphabets and number. So it starts with cost center, which is obviously an alphabetical data which consists of the cost center code. Then there are the project year, which would be definitely a numerical value, and finally the project code, which can also be a numerical value. So when you have such data which is coming intermixed, and when you try to sort based on it, obviously it will by default undergo a alphabetical sorting. So what happens is that when you want to sort based on the parts of this data separately, like first sorted by cost center, then the project year, and then the project code, it might not work properly. So the question is how you can handle such cases whenever you are using these kind of data inside the chart visuals in Power BI. So let's take a sample example which consists of similar type of data, and then let's see what happens when we use it inside the chart and how we can handle it. To see this in action, let's open a sample Power BI desktop sheet with the data that mimics the scenario. So here I have a sample table with the project code and hours as columns, and the project code represents the values exactly like what is in the scenario. So it's an intermixed data type consisting of, if you see, some alphabetical values which represents the cost center followed by the year and the project codes, which are numerical values. Now if I try to directly use this value and try to plot it inside a bar chart, so I'm choosing hours as the value and project code as the axis. And once I plot the chart and when I try to sort it based on the project code in ascending order, you can see that the sorting is not correct. It follows only alphabetical sorting. If you see here, for example, see for BU, cost center BU for 2018, we have 2 entries, but if you see 110 is coming after 23, whereas we have sorted it in ascending order, which is wrong. Similarly, if you see for 2019, 31 is coming before 4. And then similarly for other things like 2019, 400 is coming and 86 is coming after 400. This is because it is currently sorting the data in alphabetical order rather than taking the numerical values from that value. So here one thing that we need to think of in the beginning is that for getting the sorting correctly, we have to split up the corresponding parts from each of these project codes. That is, we have to split out the cost center, the project year, and the project code separately before we apply any kind of sorting on top of that. So for such customized sorting requirements, there is a property inside Power BI that can be used for this purpose, which is called sort by column. So if you are able to add a column which will correctly have the values based on the correct sequence, we can use that column as a sort by column for this particular project code, so that whenever we try to use project code in any of our visuals, the value of the project code will be sorted based on the other column. Now the first solution that comes to our mind is to add a new column inside this table which can have the calculated value based on the sequence. But the problem with the sort by column is that you can't have a column being used as a sort by column for another column if it is derived from the first column. For example, if I am adding a new column, definitely the column has to be calculated based on the project code value. Once I do that, that column becomes a derived column from this project code. Once I create such a derived column, I will not be able to use that column again back as a sort property for project code because it creates a circular reference. So that option is out of question. Now the next option for us is to create these columns directly from the modeling time itself. That means we need to go inside Power Query window for performing the steps. For this, right click on the table and choose edit query so that it launches the Power Query window. Once we are inside that, as we discussed, we need to first create the columns which are going to separate out the individual components from our project code values. For that, we need to go to the add column transformation and we need to use a duplicate column. So it's to create a duplicate column for this project code column. This is because we still want the original project code inside our visuals to be shown inside the axis. So we first create a duplicate for this, and then based on the duplicate, there is a property that is available from home called split column. We will split the values based on the delimiter. And here the delimiter is hyphen, and that is not one of the standard options. So we need to choose the custom option and put a hyphen. And we are not going to use any kind of quoting, so you can use none for that and click on OK. Automatically, the duplicated column will get split up into 3 different parts. And each of these parts we can rename into the corresponding values. The first one will be the cost center, second one will be the project year, and the third one would be the, because we already have a column called project code, we will make this project number. And one thing to note is that once we use this duplicate column and then we apply the split column transformation, automatically the columns will get changed to the corresponding data types. So there is a change type that is getting applied. So this will be, if you check the data types for this, it will be numeric. So it's new whole number. So we don't need to require any kind of conversions for using this properly in our sorting logics. Once we have generated these additional columns, now let's go back to our table data view by closing and applying the changes so that those columns will get added to our model now. So now we will have the model reloaded with these new columns. Now we are going to create a new column based on these 3 columns, and that column will have a calculated value which will provide the correct sequence. For using the correct sequence values generated for these rows based on the values for cost center, project year and project number, we make use of ranking functions. There is a function called RANKX that can be used for sequentially numbering a set of values based on a particular sorting. So let's add a new column and name it project sequence. So this is the column that will be used for sorting, and then we can use a tax function like this. For what it does is that it will apply a series of RANKX each time over each of these columns. First it will rank based on the ascending order of cost center, then it will rank based on ascending order of project year, and then it will add a value based on the ascending order of project number. And what it does is that it will add some multipliers to that so as to create a calculated value. So the choice of this multiplier depends on how much allowance you need to leave for this each of these parts. For example, how many projects can come inside a particular for a particular year, and how many years you need to repeat for each of the cost centers. So here I have taken the number of values to be allowed inside a cost center to be 1000, and the number of projects to be allowed inside a project year to be 1000. So that's why I'm using 1000, and so it's 3 zeros here and then 6 zeros here. So that means 1000 values of project numbers per project year and 1000 project year values per cost center. So according to you, you can change the multiplier. If you want only 100 values, you can reduce it to 100, and here also you can put 4 zeros. So it's up to you how many values you want to associate. So based on that, it will automatically calculate the corresponding sequence values. So even 100 would be also a proper value, because there can't be more than 100 projects in a year. So even 100 will be a realistic. So once you calculate this value, as you see, it will automatically generate the sequence value for each of these project codes. If you see the sequence of these values, it will be based on the sequence of the cost center code, and within each cost center code it will then generate the value sequentially based on the year, and within each year it will be sequentially generating the value based on the projects. So once this calculated value is obtained, all you need to do is like go to your project code, and the property sort by column, you just assign it to this new column project sequence that you have created. Once you do this, automatically if you go back to your visual and check it will be in the correct sequence. So if you see the sequence now, automatically you can see BU as the first cost center, which is correct. Within BU you have 2018 coming first, then 2019, then 2020, and within 2018 itself, if you see 23 comes first, then 110, which is correct. In 2019 you see 4 followed by 31, followed by 86, followed by 400, which is also correct. So in 2020 you see 28 coming before 110, and then it moves over to the next cost center, which is CC. Again inside CC, 2018 11 111, 2019 again 11 200, 2020 again 12 followed by 113, and finally you have the next cost center coming PC, and they have only data for 2019 and 23 followed by 100, which means that the sorting is now correct based on first the cost center, then inside each cost center based on the project years, and inside each project year based on the project code. This is exactly as per the requirement, and this is made possible by adding this additional column, which will have a single calculated value based on this multiple columns. We have to do this because there is no way by which we can apply multiple column based sort directly inside your chart visuals. And for generating these numbers, we have to generate some additional component columns which will split up the corresponding part from each of these project codes. And since these columns are not required to be a part of your actual report view, you can actually hide these columns. So there is a property called hide in report view. We can hide these columns if you don't want them to be a part of any of your visuals, because you are using it only for sorting purpose. Even the project sequence also can be hidden because it is not required inside your report. So in the report, if you see, you will only have these two columns, which are the actual columns to be used inside, so it will not confuse the users. So this is how you can use an additional derived column and use that column to apply any kind of customized sorting within your chart visuals inside Power BI. Hope you understood the concept. As usual, keep on sending your questions to request a topic category for your videos to get featured like this. As usual, keep following my channel and subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for getting notifications on future videos. Thanks all for your support, and hoping to meet you soon with another weekly video like this. Thanks and bye.